Hi there, blessings in Jesus Christ. My name is Winston Medina, and I will I will start today a series of Greek syntax analysis based on John chapter 6, and we will start today with John chapter 6 verse 1 as you can see here. My approach for this series is to present to you the Greek text, its literal and textual translation. Then I will organize the text and syntactically in the same way we speak in English, to then proceed with the analysis by parts, phrases, and words. It means that my approach is to help you understand the relationship between the words, the parts of the speech that is the most challenging when we analyze the Greek text. I won't focus on the morphology aspect because you can find it on any interlinear Greek English New Testament. But I will try to help you and I will give you some clues when we analyze, and I hope that it will be useful for you. Here we are. So Greek syntax of John 6 chapter 6 verse 1, sorry. So let me start with the text. That's the text in Greek. Let me read it for you. I follow the modern pronunciation. When I try, I'm not a Greek native speaker, but I'm a Hispanic. That's why my English pronunciation is not as good as probably as yours as a native American person. But I will try my best to help you and give you something from what I have learned by myself and at college and universities. So what we have here is μετά ταύτα απήλθεν ο Ιησούς πέραν της θαλάσσης της Γαλιλαίας της Τιβεριάδος. So as we see here, the literal and textual translation is after this went the Jesus to the other side of the Sea of Galilee to Tiberias. Of Tiberias. You see that it doesn't make sense if we compare the sentence with the way we speak English. It looks like crazy, right? So Dr. Zachariou, who is a very important person to me because he was the person who taught me how to pronounce, and also he has written 3 books that I highly recommend them. He says in his book, I think page 1 on his fundamental, no, on his I don't remember, fundamental Greek grammar, I think. Sorry, because I remember the title of the book. But he says that a sentence in Greek can have multiple flexible ways to present it, but when we see the text this way, or any way in the style we see it, is for emphatic reasons, right? So he says that a sentence can have over 20, if I don't remember, over 20 ways to organize it syntactically, okay, the order of the words. But we start here by saying after this, what there's something that needs to be completed after these things, or after these events, after these happenings. When the Jesus, what we refer to the phrase the Jesus, because we don't speak that way. We don't say the Jesus, the Luis, the Mr. Martinez. We don't say that. But in Greek, there is a reason when it appears that way. So I'm trying to give you a literal translation, textual translation, so you can see how it goes. To the other side of the Sea of Galilee of Tiberias, sorry. So my goal is to organize the whole chapter in the same way we speak or write in English. So let me go there. Let me start here. As the first part after this, μετά ταύτα, is a what we call that. It's a phrase. It's a prepositional phrase working as or functioning as an adverb. It can be whatever because it's called a movable phrase. Adverbs are movable. We can put it at the beginning, in the middle, at the end. It depends on the emphasis that we want to give. Okay, so in that case, we will leave it like that, and then we will organize the sentence in the best way we can. So we have here metatafta, that means after this, which applies in many translations, or all translations applies after these things. It can be after these events, which applies because tafta is an adjective but working as a noun here, but it needs something to communicate the idea. After these what? After these events, after these things. All right? All right. So metatafta is actually a prepositional phrase. Prepositional phrase, functioning in general as an adverbial phrase. A prepositional phrase can function as an adverbial phrase as well, in generally speaking, okay? But the specific function of this phrase in that text is the complement is that of complement circumstance of time. So it has a, when we say prepositional phrase, we are describing the category, because that's the part of speech, that's the grammatical categories, that's the morphology part. Is a prepositional phrase for sure, but in general, it's working adverbially. It means that it's modifying the main verb of the sentence, the head verb of the sentence. And the specific function of this phrase is complement circumstance of time. So let me go ahead and analyze the phrase. Meta is a preposition and is working as the head of the prepositional phrase. And tafta is the preposition object. It means that the preposition has an object. Meta tafta. And tafta normally works as an adjective, but here, we need to understand that after a preposition, what we will find most of the time is a noun phrase. It means, for noun phrase, we mean that it has a noun as a head, as the most important word. So even when tafta is a personal pronoun, well, it's a demonstrative pronoun, if we supply things, it will be working as an adjective. But we have to see it here and consider it a noun phrase, and also the head of a noun phrase, because any preposition has an object, and that object has to be for sure an object. If a noun phrase that will be the object or complement of that preposition. With that said, let's go ahead and organize the rest of the text this way. So we have here, o Iisus apilthen peran tis thalathis tis Galileas tis Tiberiados. This is my step to follow. Step by step to follow. Number one, we will find the verb. We can use the morphology. We can use the interlinear to get help. Or if you already know morphology, you just follow, identify the verb. And we have the verb here that is apilthen. Apilthen. It is the most important word. And why is it so useful to find the verb first? Because it will allow us to split the sentence into its two parts. It means subject and verb predicate. Subject and predicate. In this case, the predicate is a verbal predicate because it can be nominative too, but when we have a linking verb. But this is verbal because the verb apilthen is a verb of action. It's a verb of movement. If the verb were a linking verb, then the predicate will be called nominative predicate, but that's not the case here. In English, we have the verb to be and the verb to seem as linking verbs. In Greek, we have the common one is imi. It means to be. And then ginome, it means to become. And then we have also iparcho. It means to exist in many cases. And eventually, the verb kaleo, to mean that means to call, sometimes works or functions also as a linking verb. In that case, if we were working with any of those four verbs, um, the predicate will be called nominative predicate, a nominal predicate. Okay, but here we have an action verb, a verb of action that is appealing. So after we find the verb, step number one, we split the sentence into two. Of course, that is step number two, subject and predicate. And then we will find the head of each part. It means what is the head of the subject and what is the head of the predicate. Understanding that the subject is a noun phrase and the verbal predicate is a verbal phrase, we need to find its head. Head means the most important word. And then let me ask you, from the subject, from those two words, O Jesus, which one is the most important? Of course, Jesus. And from the phrase apilten penantis thalassintis Galileas tis Tiberiados, which one is the most important? The verb. And they are called the head. The head. In the case of the subject is the noun phrase head. In the case of the verb of predicate is the head of the phrasal verb. All right, or the verb of predicate. Once we do step number three, remember step number one, find the verb. Then step number two, split the sentence into two parts, subject and predicate. Step number three, find the head of each phrases, of each part. Then we will analyze each part separately. So for now, forget about the verbal predicate and let's analyze the subject that is also a noun phrase. We'll see here that noun phrase is divided into two words. O y sus. So O is a determined article. It is modifying the head, working or functioning as an adjective also. All right. So it's identifying it's identifying a person that is Jesus. Okay, let me tell you this. In Greek, sometimes we will find proper names or proper nouns modified by an article, a determined article, or e. It depends on if it is feminine or masculine. In this case, o is masculine. So here, the o, equivalent to the v in English, is telling us that the writer and probably the audience of the gospel knew who Jesus was, or knew Jesus for sure. So it's indicating that Jesus was known by the author, the writer, or the recipient, the people who were going to receive the gospel of John. Okay, so that's why you will find, for example, O Theos, el Dios, the God, but it's talking about the God that is well known by the audience and the writer, or the writer. O Jesus, the Jesus, it means the Jesus that you and I know, or the Jesus that I know, the Jesus that you know, the Jesus that we both know. It has to do with knowledge. It's the Jesus that we know. Okay, so that's one way to express it. So the specifier, the determined article, is modifying Jesus adjectively. All right, we don't have any other element to analyze on the subject or in the subject area. We will move to the verbal predicate, and we have a lot to analyze here. We have a long phrase here. that is introduced by a preposition. As you can see here, we have a preposition. So let me analyze here phrase by phrase, split it this way. Parentis Galileas, so parentis Thalathis. As we can see here, we need to describe what kind of phrase is this. And this is, if it is introduced by a preposition, we have to analyze this. Oh, sorry. We have to analyze this the same way as we analyze this one over here. So this is a prepositional phrase again. It is functioning as an adverbial phrase in general, but the specific function, when we talk about syntax, is the complement circumstance of place. While metatafta here at the very beginning means is a complement circumstance of time, because it's telling us when the event of the sentence that we are analyzing here happened or occurred. So when did Jesus, it answers to the question, when did Jesus go away to the other side of Galilee of Tiberias? Well, metatafta, after these things, after these events. See? It's talking about time. But this one is talking about place. It answers to the question, where did Jesus go? Jesus went to the other side of the sea. There's a complement circumstance of place, and it has to do all of these sentences that I have put here in this phrase is the complement circumstance of place. All right, because it's talking about geography, about location. It's locative. All right. And of course, this is modifying. It function, general function is adverbial because it's modifying the verb. So Jesus went where? Went to is related to the verb. It's modifying the verb. It's adverbial function. Complement circumstance of place. What kind of division can we do here? Can we make here? We have to split it to continue to analyze the relationship phrase to phrase and word to word. So you have here parent is a non-proper preposition, non-proper prepositions or improper prepositions. It means that most of the time it will be used as with an adverbial intentionality, or it's working as an adverb. Okay, so but anyway, it's still a preposition. So it's working as the head of the prepositional phrase, working as an adverb. Okay, prepositional phrase, the head, that's the most important phrase here of the whole prepositional phrase. And that prepositional phrase has an object. The preposition object is this salathis. All right. This preposition object, because we need to understand this, any preposition has an object or complement. That object or complement is for sure a noun phrase. That's a noun phrase. After a preposition, we will find a noun phrase. And what is a noun phrase? We already defined it at the very beginning. We said that a noun phrase is a phrase that has a noun as a head. So we'll need to find which one is the head. That's why we will split it into its two elements. And then we will say that this is a determined article modifying the head, that is thalathis. Thalathis is the head of the noun phrase, working or functioning as the preposition object. So this is modifying the head, that is thalathis. That's what we have here. We have already analyzed this. Let's move to the next one. That starts with the tis Galileas. Okay, Jesus went to the Sea of Galilee, to Thalathis, tis Galileas. is a partitive genitive or partitive genitive. What is a partitive genitive? Partitive means it comes from part. Jesus didn't go to the whole sea. It's like cutting out a cake. So we don't eat a whole cake unless we are a kid, but we are given a piece of a cake, like Greek, that is a piece of cake. So it's part of something that is a whole, the whole sea. Did Jesus go out? Jesus go to the other side of Galilee, to the whole side, to the whole other side of Galilee? No, to one part only, one portion. That's what is called partitive genitive. All right. And what kind of phrase is this Galileas? Galileas is a proper noun. It's talking about places, a place specifically. So it's a noun complement. That is modifying the noun complement. It's modifying another or the previous, anaphorically, the previous or the noun that was before it. It means fallacies. It's modifying that, and it's working or functioning as a noun complement, and that noun complement is a noun phrase. If it is a noun phrase, we need to understand and find the head, understand that it has a noun as a head. So we have tis as a determined article, modifying adjectively Galileas, that is a proper name. And it is the head of the noun phrase working as a noun complement. The specific function of this phrase is a partitive genitive functioning as a noun complement. It means that it complement the previous that is called anaphoric, the previous head of the previous noun. In that case, fallacies. Because fallacies and tis Galileas are related. And tis Galileas is a complement of fallacies. That's called, and a fallacy is a noun. That's why it is called noun complement. The complement of a noun. It's a noun complement. With that said, let's analyze the last phrase. That will be easy for you because you have seen this phrase already analyzed. It's almost the same. We will call this epexegetic genitive. Genitive. What does epexegetic mean? Epexegetic means explanation. It is explaining where Galilea is or what Galilea is related to geographically. I have to say that many manuscripts do not include tis Tiberiados of Tiberias. Many scholars say that the reason was because there is a kind of ambiguity between those two genitive. In order to break with the ambiguity, they decided to get rid of it. But if you decided to include it, you have to understand it more likely epexegetic genitive, epexegetic genitive. What does it mean? Well, this is explaining where Galilea is located or what Galilea is related to. Okay. So it's a noun complement too, because it's complement. Which noun is complement? Of course, Galilea. And it is also a noun phrase, and it has to be analyzed as well as tis Tiberias. Tis is the determined article modifying adjectively Tiberias, that is the noun, and also for epexegetic genitive, we can translate that as that is Tiberia. There is Tiberias. I think I missed the S here, but you got a point. All right. And that's all, guys. I wanted to highlight two more things before we leave. And the first thing is that the verb went, apilthen here, It's an intransitive verb. It means that it doesn't admit any object direct object, any direct object. Let me clarify that. So if I say, for example, I give an apple is a direct object, but we cannot do that with with verb like went or came. So it's non-transitive. It doesn't admit direct object. If it doesn't accept or admit any direct object, it won't admit any indirect object either. Also, because the same thing. So that's what an intransitive verb is. We don't have any complement, direct complement or direct object if you want. And another thing that we will see here is that the subject itself is a noun phrase. As you can see here, it's a noun phrase. But we will find many other noun phrases as we continue with the analysis. We will find, for example, let me see what I can find here. No, I can. If I can find here, well, I cannot do that, but I would like to see. Let me see. Okay. Well, you see here, after a preposition, as you can see here, we have the preposition meta. We will find a noun phrase. After the preposition peran in this case, we will find another noun phrase. After any preposition, we will find a noun phrase. You will see here noun phrases here because tis Galileas is the same as to say tis thalasis because it's related to it. And we have another noun phrase here. So in total for this analysis, we have one over here. Even when I didn't indicate here that tafta is working as a noun phrase, tafta is working as a noun phrase because it is after a preposition, even when it's needing it's needing another word to be supplied. Anyways, it has to be understood as a noun phrase because a noun phrase has a minimum word that is a pronoun, and that is the case. This is a demonstrative pronoun, or a noun, or a group of words that has a noun as a head, as I already defined it, and that's it, guys. Many phrases. So the noun phrase is the most common element that we'll find when we analyze, and we will need to identify it. We will start with the subject that is the main noun phrase, and we will find a lot of noun phrases in the adverbial or prepositional phrases, or in the predicate, or in many other places. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I hope that you subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I will be more than happy to share with you John chapter 6, verse 1 for the next time. Thank you, and greetings to all of you.